My name's Dave DeBow, founder of MoneyPartnerFormula.com, and this show is built for everyday real estate investors who are actively doing deals and looking to scale using other people's money. So if you're an active real estate investor and you want to get featured on this show to talk about your own real estate and capital raising experiences, then just go to daveinterviewsyou.com. Now let's get rolling with this episode, and remember to subscribe for daily interview content. Hey folks, welcome back. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever thought, you know what, I'd like to get more involved in real estate, but I just don't have time. I'm too busy with my job, with my family, with my profession. I can't do this real estate thing. Well, push those thoughts aside, because today's special guest, Dr. Jacky Fils, has overcome all of those challenges and then some to become a very successful real estate entrepreneur, in addition to being a physician. So in addition to working as a doctor, Jacky is also into multifamily investing. So zooming in from beautiful Boston, Massachusetts, or thereabouts, Dr. Jacky Fils, welcome to the show, my friend. Good to see you.
Hey Dave, how you doing?
I am fantastic. All right, Jacky. So give the folks at home just a quick snapshot of what does real estate investing look like for you. Let's talk about number one. What do you currently have in your portfolio? What kind of properties? Where are they? How many units? And number two, let's talk about what you're starting to get into, what you're looking to do more of.
Hey Dave, before I start, let me say thank you for having me because I'm very honored for you to invite me to your podcast.
My
But
pleasure.
when it comes to real estate, we just started, I would say before COVID. We were just like a student of the thing because you actually have to learn so you can grow. So we start learning about real estate because we think that it was a very good way for us to get diversify into an investment, if you will. And as we start, like many people does, we start with a single family. But me, I was always the guy that never believed in single family. Even when I was doing single family, I always think it was supposed to be like, duplex, triplex, and things like that. So as a matter of fact, my first property was a 4 units.
Mm.
And from there, we just roll on and we get to like 12 units. And these 12 units now could have been more, but then come COVID. COVID come, we just had to take a stop because at that time I had already pinpoint that North Carolina was the market to be. Charlotte, North Carolina. I was going to be full in and try to go into multifamily. But then COVID hit, and I was like, you know what? I don't want to play with people's money. I don't want to play with my money, let alone other people's money. So
Yeah.
therefore, we kind of like push the brake and work on what we have right now to try to make them better, give people a better place to live, a place that they can be very happy to call home. And then now things starting to look better and we're starting to roll out and starting to get ourselves out there and things are looking so good in the Charlotte market right now.
Well, let's talk a little bit about your current portfolio, Jacky, because I had the pleasure of working with you a bit a couple of years ago, and I can remember you going through some trials and tribulations with renovations and contractors and all that stuff, and trying to do all this stuff in the midst of COVID. What were some of your biggest challenges with the buildings that you've currently got?
Well, Dave, to tell you the truth, it was a hard time because everybody who's in real estate knows that when you are dealing with contractors, you can never think that the numbers that you have on your paperwork, the number that they present to you, it's exactly what it's going to be. And besides, like I told you, we were just starting to spread our wings when COVID hit. And then all of a sudden, everything on the market was double, triple the price. You couldn't find lumber. You couldn't find certain things that you wanted to get your work, your renovation going.
Yeah.
And the one challenge we had was every day it was price increase. Every day it was what you told me, this is not what we discussed. What we
Yeah.
signed, this is not what it is. And you always have to find ways. And on top of that, you also have to be careful with contractors presenting themselves with who they are not. And I actually had a very good experience with that. And I tell you, this is something for you. If you're studying real estate, you need to look out for.
So, what kind of renovations were you doing, and how many contractors did you end up going through?
So the first property, like I mentioned before, I end up going to through three contractors. The first one literally did my roof and didn't pull a permit.
Oh,
Oh, that was tough.
yeah.
And so now we started to get through things. Then I get the second one. The second one started very well, very nice. But for whatever reason, it started adding prices or adding little things on, and I'm making payments and I don't see the progress.
Hmm.
And when we start having good conversation and I'm starting to really pull receipts and pull these things were not adding up. And he was still convincing me that he's doing a pretty good job. I'm like, I understand that you are doing a pretty good job, but I don't see the work. So that's when we actually had to divorce and go to my third one. My third one is the one that take me to the finish line on the first one. Then once we finish the first one, we start the second one. It was done a lot faster. Then we were to the third one. And now I can say that I'm sitting pretty happy right now.
Awesome. So it took three kicks of the can, so to speak, to find that good contractor that did what he said he was going to do when he said he was going to do it and for the price he said he was going to do it for. So it took a lot of trial and error to find that good guy.
Yes,
Yeah.
you actually have to look in until you find the one that you mesh with.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you realize that you find these people that no matter what happened, you just together. You just in this together. It was a nice conversation. It was a truthful conversation. I could say that, we become like brothers, like we were doing these things and we start looking at deals that we could do together. And it was a very nice match.
Oh, that's wonderful. I'm so glad to hear that. Now, we were talking a little bit off camera that actually those properties have turned out really, really well for you. And if I'm not mistaken, in a relatively short period of time, relatively, you are able to, purchase those properties, get them all renovated. Even though you went way over budget on some of the renovations, you were still able to pull out, I think, all of your initial investment, and now you're starting to pull out just pure profit from these properties. Is that correct?
So two of them I was able to pull out all my investment in two of them because one of them was literally the first one we did was a completely cash out refi because this one we bought this property or I bought this property in a very very bad shape and I it was a completely gutted property, the renovation, and I was able to refinance that, so all my money was out of the deal and the property is cash flowing very beautifully with the mortgage that we have on it right now.
So
And we
you,
already
so you
got
did
the,
like a perfect burr on that one.
oh yes, I
Yeah,
did. And
yeah, nice.
now we are looking to refinance again. Like they always said, it's just, invest, borrow, and die. You just keep going at it. And the third property is the one that we didn't get to the point where before the Fed start going up with the interest rate, we didn't get to the point where we actually had to refinance that. So we sit on it and we said
Mhm.
we're gonna wait until things look better and so we can do a proper refinancing. And I think that this year we're probably sitting in a very good position to refinance all three properties again.
That's exciting stuff. So, Jackie, what are your plans moving ahead? You're talking about, so these properties are all in Massachusetts right now. Now you're talking about going to North Carolina. Is that correct? Tell me a little
Yes.
bit about how you're going to be doing that. Are you doing that alone or with partners? What kind of properties are you looking at? Are you guys going to be the, sponsors, lead sponsors, or co-GPs on these kind of properties? How does moving into a different state look like for you?
So, Dave, since we've worked together, you always instill in me that having a team is very important. You just cannot do it alone. You cannot go at it alone. If you want to go fast, well, do it alone. But if you want to stay in this business, because it is a business, real estate, multifamily, it is a business. And if you want to go longer, if you want to stay in it longer, you're going to have a team. So right now we have a team And the Charlotte market, North Carolina, is where we are setting our site. As a matter of fact, as I've mentioned before, our site was already set on North Carolina since before COVID, but we actually had to put on the brakes a little bit because we didn't want to go at it and make some bad deals. And I can tell you right now, we are seeing a lot of bad deal being made in the past 2 years. And these are the deals that are hitting our desk right now that we are underwriting. And we've been very busy at the end of 2024, going into 2025. I have my partner lives in Charlotte.
Okay.
He's a dentist, and he's also doing exactly the same thing that I am doing. So we just met at a conference and we shared a common team, a common goals, and we just said, okay, we're gonna go at it. We already have our mortgage broker. We already have multiple brokers that we are working with. We already have our management company that we've seen deals with. We have a solid team in the North Carolina that we are working with and trying to see if we can get this thing going.
So what size of properties are you guys looking at?
As a matter of fact, we just finished submitting an LOI on a 96 unit.
Oh, so
Um,
larger properties.
Yes,
Okay.
larger properties.
Mhm.
Obviously, we wanted to, when we first started, when I was myself and trying to recruit, I said, okay, I want it to be in the midsection between 30s and 60s. Now, the problem with this is economies of scale, because when you have a management company that's charging you 7 or 8% as opposed to 3 or 4%, because of the size of the property, it makes a big difference.
Mhm.
So we're not gonna say that we find a 40 units property that is very well located that we're gonna pass on it. No, that's not what we are saying at all. However, if we find something that is big and beautiful, then we can bring other professional, young professional, or high-paid professional with us that we can actually introduce that to them, get them to invest with us. That will be the more beautiful, and our work will pay off as well because they will see the return of their investment as we're going forward.
Very good. So you met this dentist in who's based in South Carolina in Charlotte,
In
North
Charlotte,
Carolina.
North Carolina.
Yeah, North
Mhm.
Carolina. Perfect. Does he already have some properties in his portfolio as well?
Yes, he
Mhm.
does. He invests in he has about he already invested in about 2,000 2,500 properties. He's done some LP. He's been co-GP on two properties. I've done some LP myself.
Mhm.
But I always talk about the ones that I own, but I also go through the investment with other people. But he already done co-GP in two deals, one in Houston, one in Tampa. But he was having a hard time, I would say, breaking into the North Carolina market. But it's obvious because that market was really everybody was going after it.
Yeah,
It was
very hot.
going up so fast, and doing it by yourself was not ideal situation. And besides, all the properties in 2022, 2023 that we were looking at, they were not making sense. The
Mhm.
numbers were not making sense. But now the numbers are making sense and we are making offers and we are sitting pretty and waiting.
That's wonderful. So Jackie, you've been kind of accustomed to being your own man, the guy in charge of your own deal so far. Now you've partnered up with another real estate investor. How have you two gentlemen kind of decided how to divide responsibilities and job tasks? What are you guys doing for that to make that work?
So you actually have to know what is your strength and trying to see someone that complement that strength. Me, I'm a go-getter. I'm gonna make the calls. I'm gonna go after the properties. I'm gonna make the first swing at the properties. And I make that time in my schedule so I can make calls because I know exactly what I'm doing. When you already taste what real estate can do for you, you become more hungry and go after it.
Yeah.
And I kind of like let him do the underwriting. We discuss, don't get me wrong, I do my own underwriting and we
Yeah.
compare notes, but I let him get that bulk of the work and we share ideas. And we also bring other partners that we have or other people that we can call, coach or mentors that comes to the fold to help us make sense out of things that we cannot make sense of. And we keep pushing forward.
Yeah, that's really smart, Jacky. So when it comes to finding these kind of deals and opportunities, you're saying it was very, very challenging a couple of years ago. None of them made sense financially because the North Carolina, especially Charlotte, was so popular, so hot. You're saying numbers are starting to make sense now. How are you coming across these opportunities? Are you going direct to seller? Are you developing broker relationships? What are you doing to shake the tree there, Jacky?
You have to do both of them.
Yeah.
I learned very early on that direct marketing, direct mail, you cannot go wrong with that.
Yes.
But when you are talking about 90 units, 100 units, this is a business. Unless you find something that mom and pops has owned for a while, it's going to be very difficult for you to actually find something of that size in direct mail. So you actually have to develop good relationship with brokers. And also, even when you find these deals offline, if you will, or off market, like we would say, nothing is really ever off market if it is a pretty sized deal. But nonetheless, you can find the 40 units, you can find the 60 units, or you can find a portfolio that someone has owned for a long time. So you
Yeah.
just go at it all on every angle, but never stop picking up that phone and make phone calls because the brokers, they love it. And especially when you do a good job of underwriting the deals and explain to them, listen, you give me that deal, I underwrote it, but I'm not getting even close to your whisper price. What are you guys doing? Like, I can share with you how I underwrite the deal and what metrics I'm using. At least we share ideas, and that's a beautiful thing when two minds come together.
Nice. What have you found has worked best for you to connect with a new broker and keep that relationship going?
You know what? Honesty to me has always worked. Honesty. So I know when I first started, before I start receiving some call back, I just pick up the phone and I had a list in front of me, and my list had probably 200, I think 350 brokers in it, 200,
Wow.
350 brokers. And I said, you know what? How do you go at it? Or, just one bite at a time. I just, every time I have the chance, I put that chunk of time aside. I just come, I said, okay, you know what? Jacky, you're just gonna make 10 phone calls. You make 10 phone calls. If something comes out of it, it's fine. If nothing comes out of it, you just hang up the phone. You'll do it again tomorrow. And
Yeah.
then you start having these bookers that are asking you the hard questions. When they ask you the hard questions, you take notes and you go and you research it. So next time when you encounter somebody else, then you become more professional, more
Mm.
prepared of what they are looking for, of what they want to hear, because you actually have to develop the language. If you don't have the language or if you don't speak the language, they don't understand you.
Mm.
So once you start making sense in what you are saying and you start mentioning the proper terms, then they start taking you seriously.
What's one example of that that really sticks out in your mind?
Like for
Hard
instance, I
question.
just mentioned to you earlier, the whisper price. Not
Yeah.
everybody knows about that. So you can go to the broker and be like, so what exactly is the seller asking for? They hear you. But if you say, what is the whisper price on this? Then they think differently about you because not everybody knows that. That's
Yeah.
one secret. There are some
Yeah.
others, but I cannot give it all to you, Dave.
Oh, that's fantastic, Jacky. Well, hey, congratulations on sticking to it. I remember you going through those very, very frustrating times with those first contractors and kind of just feeling really kind of beat down sometimes by that process, but you persevered, you kept going through, you picked yourself up, you dusted yourself off, and I'm so thrilled that that has turned out so well for you. In fact, you're using that as a springboard to jump into much larger properties in a completely new market. I'm sure you're going to do very, very well just because you've got so much persistence and perseverance. So I think that's going to be an exciting year for you coming up. So, Jacky, I'm sure a lot of people that are listening or watching this episode would like to connect with you and find out more about what you're up to. So, what would be the best place for people to go to connect with Jacky Fils?
So, Dave, anybody who want to connect with me can go to masspropertypartners.com. Masspropertypartners with an S.com. There, I have a nice white paper for them where they can see the 7 good reasons why they should invest into real estate. And also, if they want to connect with me personally, we have this that we can also send them. You can send to them for free. So they just have to take an appointment with me. We'll talk, and I can send them my books, and we can discuss. And also, Dave, our training doesn't give us the ability to quit. We don't like to quit. We're gonna persevere. We're gonna persevere until we find the very good result that we are looking for.
Well, Jacky, this has been a pleasure. And again, if you want to connect with Jacky, that's masspropertypartners.com, mass, MASS, propertypartners.com. Jacky, thanks for being on the show. It's always fun.
Dave, it was a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
All right, everybody, take care, and we will see you on the next episode. Hey there, I really hope you enjoyed that episode. And as always, if you want to listen to more daily interview content, make sure you subscribe. And if you're an active real estate investor and you're doing deals and you'd like to get featured on this show, then just head over to daveinterviewsyou.com. Now at moneypartnerformula.com, we help real estate investors to create a process for predictably getting capital so they can do more deals without relying on hard money lenders or the banks. We do this by building them a private capital marketing system. Now, if you want help turning yourself into a big money capital attraction machine, then book a call with our team to see how we can help. Just visit moneypartnerformula.com to find out more. All right, take care, and we'll see you on the next interview.